Hey everyone, welcome back to the Witching Hour Wagon. This is the episode 28. Today we have 4 haunted Airbnb stories. So let's get right into it. Enjoy. Number 1. The Guest. We recently had a guest who asked us if anyone had ever reported anything supernatural or odd. The answer we said was no. She said she thought the doors were closing on their own. I did remember that a few years ago, some ladies were staying and they also asked something like that, but they didn't mention having had any weird experiences. Neither of us have ever noticed anything here, but the cats do sometimes stare at space where there appear to be no bugs, no dust particles floating, nor anything else to stare at. Growing up, my best friend in high school lived in a haunted house. Lights would go on and off. Items would move from room to room. But strangely, this didn't seem to scare anyone, and nothing bad ever happened. I never got any weird vibes in their house either. Number 2. The Airbnb. I stayed in an Airbnb that was an old farmhouse. It was on a secluded road, and we were there in October. There was a chill in the air, and the evenings had that quiet early dark that makes them just a little extra spooky. We arrived around 9 p.m. The host left the lights on inside, so it looked inviting and was easy to spot as we arrived with our dog in tow. As soon as we got in the door, I thought, oh, the lights are on because there is someone still here. It was that sort of feeling. I thought it might be a cleaner or someone working late. My husband actually called out, "Hello, anyone here?" before I even said anything, so I knew he felt the same way. The dog, who is a great traveler normally, was super cautious, hanging back. We explored the house, and it was clear that no one was there, but we both felt as though there were. After watching some movies, we settled in. I picked one bedroom, but then changed my mind as it was really cold. We set up the dog's little bed in the corner, but we had a hard time to get him to lie down. He was anxious, kept wanting to go outside and sniff around the house, but only if we went with him. Odd. Finally, we all went to sleep. About 2:30 or 3 a.m., I wake up to a light going on in the closet. The light was a pull string, so I was very confused. The dog is going nuts and kept barking at something under the bed. I think, oh, is there a rat or something that pulled the chain and ran under the bed? But there is nothing. The dog won't let up. We get our phones and crawl under the bed. Nada. We look all over the house. Nothing. Eventually, we fall back asleep, but the dog keeps crawling softly from time to time, which is not like him. My husband says, "I thought I saw you in the closet when the light went on, but then realized you were asleep next to me." That's when all the hair stood up on the back of my neck. I contacted the host and asked if they had heard anything like this from other guests. The host totally denied it, and I felt like a weirdo for asking, but something was up for sure. So I just started talking out loud to what I felt was a lady ghost. I am not a believer per se, but this whole thing was just too bizarre to ignore. I said how much we liked her house, and we were happy to stay there. Please, don't scare my dog, and please, don't wake us up if you can help it. We would be leaving the next day, and we appreciated that she had such a beautiful home. My skeptic husband heard me and said, "Oh, are you talking to the ghost? I think you should. I am freaked out and the dog won't leave my side." After that, it was like the energy in the house was less oppressive. We felt like someone was still there with us, but it was somehow easier. The dog was back to his old self and went running around in the yard. At no time did we feel threatened in this place, but it was very clear that there was something there with us. I did not mention the experience in the review. I think the host was probably nonplussed that I asked her about anything off kilter in the first place. We own an old house too, and I would think a guest was trying to get a freebie if they said we had a ghost. So to this day, I don't know if it was just us. I would love to stay again and see if we have the same experience. Number 3. Guests. Occasionally, we get asked if our place has guests. My answer is that you're part of the cottage. No, but our pod, which is oldest pod. Possibly. My daughters swear that our guest room has a full-time guest. They are not that happy to sleep in there, and when one did, she swears she got woken up in the night by the feeling of someone getting onto the bed and laying down next to her. Personally, I would have spent the rest of the night on the settee. I have lived in a house where shadows passed by doors and no one was there, or the dog would just stare into the corner but wag his tail and not bark. It wasn't until my friend's young daughter, who had autism and went to the bathroom and started talking to someone who we couldn't see, I started to get a bit freaked. When questioned, she said she was talking to the man in the bath. We knew the previous owners and quietly asked a few questions about the layout of the house beforehand, while not mentioning the man in the bath situation. And it turned out that the bathroom used to be the bedroom of her uncle who died in World War I. His bed was where the bath is now. I must admit, I never really relaxed in that bath again. He was called Will, and whenever we saw or felt anything again, we just said hi to Will and carried on. Number 4. The Villa. It will be hard to get this out of my head. Such experience is not easy to process. 2 weeks ago, we have been to Cannes, France, and rented a villa in the fancy hills of Super Cannes. It was their long weekend, and any accommodations was hard to find, not to mention the prices. Villa we have got was slightly cheaper, very old, huge smelly property, too big for our family of 4. The first step in was a shocking feeling of something to be there. Not one, lots of them. Not friendly. In one of the room's closet on the top shelf was pushed back an urn. There was more storage items in the old furniture, including sage. Many doors in the mansion were locked with a sign private. The place was very quiet. The walls were soft on touch, like a sponge covered with a very old fabric. Fabric that looks like 200 years old lady's dress. It felt like there would be something behind it. My daughter told me, "Mom, it will be okay. just try to sleep before they come out. Every one of us felt strange. I couldn't stay alone for a second in this place. All windows had iron bars. It was also pitch black when the lights were off, and I was trying to sleep, but I guess the house already woke up. Started to make noises that wasn't there since the afternoon. Each time my heavy eyes were closing, I felt gentle pulling by my hair. Little by little, it was morning. Yay, we have survived. The feeling in the house wasn't any different today, except I were more brave. Maybe even too brave as the door suddenly slammed open in the dining room, leading to the pool area and few levels of stone patio. It was noon, and it scared me and my 14-year-old daughter. But it could just be the wind. So I said out loud, "What do you want here?" We are here now. In no time, bang, right next to us, out of nowhere. We both jumped up a few inches, trying to back up slowly from the area. I started to be more nice. "We are here just for 2 nights. It is your place. Please let us stay." This night we have stayed outdoors by the pool as long as we could. The night was more friendly, but still couldn't wait to leave this property. When checking out in the morning, the electric gate that worked fine all the time broke. We can't leave. There's power, but no power in the gate. After an hour on the phone with property manager, there was no way to leave. Eventually, my handy husband unscrewed some pots under the gate, and we quickly left. Experience of a lifetime. Incomparable feel. I'm still trying to wash away the smell of this place from my good travel clothes. This is it for today's episode of the Witching Hour Wagon. Let us know in the comments below which one was your favorite. And if you liked the video, press that like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel to get more of these creepy stories. Also, if you have your own scary story, please send it to the email below. Thanks for tuning in. Be wary and take care, because something wicked is always on its way.